Hey everyone! Glad to have you back on the channel. Today, we're plunging into the hidden side of marine theme parks. Beyond the sparkle and spectacle lies a reality far scarier than a bad hair day. We're focusing on killer whales, magnificent beings, but also formidable hunters. Brace yourselves for some shocking tales the parks would rather keep under wraps. Picture this. Blue Horizon Oceanic Park, sunny San Diego. Tourists everywhere, the smell of sunscreen and overpriced snacks in the air. It's the perfect summer day. And the main attraction, Neptune, a 20-foot, 10,000-pound hunk of an orca. This guy was like the Beyoncé of the park, famous for his epic jumps and those adorable squeaky noises orcas make. Now, meet Maris Ellington, a 27-year-old marine biologist. Think like the ultimate ocean whisperer. She was obsessed with whales, dedicated her whole life to them. Maris and Neptune? They had a bond, like seriously connected. But Neptune, well, he started acting sus. Think about it. You're stuck in a tiny apartment, forced to do the same routines day after day. You'd be stressed AF, right? That's what Neptune was going through. He'd slap the tank walls, ignore Maris's commands, and just float there looking emo. The other trainers were shook. They were like, "Girl, this whale is about to crack." They begged the park managers to give Neptune a break. Let him chill. But money talks, right? And Neptune, he was their cash cow. So they ignored the warnings. Big mistake. One afternoon during a packed show, it happened. The music was pumping, the crowd was living for it, and Neptune and Maris were doing their signature move, a synchronized swim. It was like watching a perfectly choreographed dance, graceful and beautiful, until it wasn't. As Maris swam towards Neptune, he just snapped. Imagine being in the audience and seeing this massive whale lunge at this tiny human. He grabbed her with his jaws, those jaws that could crush a watermelon in like a second, and dragged her under. Trainers panicked. They were throwing buoys, fish, anything to distract him. But Neptune was in a rage. Okay, so now we're jetting off to the Canary Islands, a little slice of paradise in the Atlantic. Loro Park is the name, and it's like the Disneyland of marine parks. Lush, green, Instagram-worthy. But even in paradise, darkness lurks. Enter Takoa, another massive orca with a tragic backstory. This poor guy was basically the product of a broken home. His mom was captured from the wild, forced to breed, and she was, like, not about that life. She became aggressive, taking it out on Takoa. He was moved from park to park, separated from his family, constantly bullied by other whales. Talk about trauma. But despite all that, Takoa was a performer. He had this raw power and energy that drew people in. And then there was Claudia Volhart, a German trainer who was basically the orca whisperer of Europe. She was one of the few female trainers who could handle these massive creatures, and she had this incredible bond with Takoa. But just like with Neptune, there were red flags. Takoa was getting more and more unpredictable, snapping at other whales, refusing to do tricks, basically acting like a teenager who just got grounded. The trainers noticed, but again, the show must go on, right? Wrong. One day, during a training session, Takoa lost it. He attacked Claudia. The details are still kinda shady, but witnesses say it was brutal. Let's hop across the pond to SeaWorld Orlando, a place synonymous with killer whales. But behind the shiny facade and cotton candy smiles, a tragedy was unfolding. This is Kayla's story. Kayla was a young orca, born into captivity at SeaWorld. She never knew the vastness of the ocean, the thrill of the hunt, the comfort of her family pod. Her world was concrete walls and artificial waves. Her trainer, Daniel, was a kind soul, deeply connected to Kayla. He saw the spark of wildness in her eyes, the longing for something more. He poured his heart into making her life bearable, but even his love couldn't erase the bars of her watery prison. Kayla's frustration grew with each passing day. The endless routines, the echoing emptiness of her tank, the absence of genuine connection. It all became too much. She lashed out, refusing to perform, her once playful splashes turning into angry slaps against the water's surface. The park, blinded by profit, saw her rebellion as a nuisance, a bump in their carefully crafted entertainment schedule. They dismissed Daniel's concerns, his pleas for a more humane approach. They didn't understand that Kayla wasn't a performer, she was a prisoner begging for release. Then came the day that changed everything. During a routine show, Kayla, fueled by a desperation only a captive animal can understand, made a break for freedom. It wasn't a vicious attack, not a display of aggression. It was a desperate plea for autonomy. As Daniel swam beside her, she nudged him, her massive body pinning him against the pool's edge. The crowd gasped, their cheers turning to screams. Chapter 4. Ikaika's Scar, a legacy of pain. Our next stop takes us to the sun-drenched coast of Spain, to Marineland Antibes. Here, amidst the azure waters and vibrant marine life, another tragic tale unfolded, the story of Ikaika, a young orca carrying the weight of generations past. Ikaika, meaning strong in Hawaiian, arrived at Marineland with a heavy heart. Born into captivity in Texas, he inherited a legacy of pain and frustration. His mother, a captive herself, had been involved in a fatal incident with a trainer years prior. From a young age, Ikaika exhibited signs of distress. He was withdrawn, his usually playful nature replaced with a brooding silence. His trainer, Sophia, a young woman with a fierce love for her whales, recognized the signs of trauma etched into his soul. She witnessed his nightmares, the frantic thrashing in his sleep, the cries that echoed through the silent aquarium at night. She understood that Ikaika wasn't just battling his own demons, but those of his ancestors, their pain passed down like a cruel inheritance. Sophia fought tirelessly for Ikaika, advocating for enrichment programs, larger enclosures, anything to alleviate his suffering. But her efforts were met with resistance. The park, more concerned with profit than compassion, dismissed her concerns. They saw only a valuable asset, not a sentient being trapped in a cycle of despair. One fateful day, during a training session, Ikaika's pent-up frustration reached a boiling point. Chapter 5. Kiska's Lament, the Loneliest Whale. Our journey takes us now to the icy waters of Ontario, Canada, to a place known as Marineland. Here, amidst the vastness of Lake Ontario, a solitary figure swims in silent despair. This is the heart-wrenching story of Kiska, the loneliest whale in the world. Kiska's story is one of profound loss and unimaginable isolation. Captured off the coast of Iceland in 1979, she spent decades as a captive performer, enduring the stress of confinement, the loss of her young, and the agonizing loneliness of being the only orca in her tank. She bore witness to the deaths of her 5 calves, each loss a fresh wound on her soul. The park, focused on breeding programs and profits, failed to understand the depth of her grief, the profound impact of her isolation. Years turned into decades, and Kiska's spirit slowly eroded. The once playful whale became a shadow of her former self, listlessly circling her barren enclosure, her cries echoing unanswered in the vast emptiness. Her plight became a symbol of the cruel reality of orca captivity, a stark reminder of the emotional toll inflicted upon these highly social and intelligent creatures. Chapter 6. Tilikum's Shadow, a Whale of Sorrow. Our final chapter brings us back to SeaWorld Orlando, where the story of Tilikum, a massive bull orca, casts a long shadow over the industry. Tilikum's story is perhaps the most well-known and heart-wrenching of all captive orcas. Captured off the coast of Iceland in 1983, he spent decades confined to tanks, his immense size and strength a source of both awe and fear. Tilikum's time in captivity was marked by tragedy. He was involved in 3 human deaths, each incident a stark reminder of the immense pressure and psychological strain inflicted upon these complex creatures. His first victim was a trainer at a marine park in British Columbia, the second, a trespasser who snuck into SeaWorld Orlando after hours, and the third, Don Brancho, an experienced trainer who shared a close bond with Tilikum. Outro. The Ripple Effect. Sisters, we've just scratched the surface of a much larger issue. These are just a few of the many stories of orcas who have lashed out in captivity. These incidents are tragic reminders that these animals are not meant to be confined. They are wild animals with their own language, their own social structures, their own ways of life. Stay tuned, because in our next video, we're exposing even more shocking encounters that shook the marine world. Trust me, you won't want to miss it. Until next time, stay curious and stay woke.